Hello again to all and sundry, welcome back to the Great Partition in Europa Universalis 4. I'm Paragon Saber, let's get back into it. So right now, the main wars that we are dealing with are yet another conquest in the West African region by Spain, which Morocco is protesting every step of the way. We also do have Odiev looking to take over Germion. Looks like they've pieced out Albania, and we'll see if we can't catch this piece as it goes. Here's hoping they're not fighting anybody else, right? Oh, Aydin's involved. Okay, well, maybe not. It'll take a little bit for them to siege that down. We also have Poland at war with Brabant at the very least. I'm guessing they might have attacked... Oh my goodness. What did you do here? Ah, well, I spoke too soon when I said that Lubeck hadn't managed to finagle themselves a coalition. They've most certainly managed to finagle themselves a coalition. Poland is attempting to defend them, but that's a lot of nations arrayed against them. Maybe we'll see Denmark out again. Well, maybe we'll see Denmark with some cores returned to them. Seems a tad more appropriate. You know, tad more. Yeah, enough of that. Anyways, I did see we'd look for the Enlightenment. Let's do so. That appears to be it. It has spawned in Magdeburg. So, props to them, though now occupied by Lubeck as part of this coalition war. Regardless, I mean, Magdeburg didn't exist, you know, a rather short time ago, so, for them to then turn around and spawn the Enlightenment is, you know, maybe you could call it a bit of a coup. And, you know, you normally wouldn't see this up in Scandinavia. It tends to usually be either Denmark or Sweden, but Norway winning out just really through attrition more than anything. Not literal attrition, but Denmark looking decent for a while, then lost all of their stuff to Lubeck. Sweden slowly gobbled up by both Novgorod and Denmark at the beginning of the game. And, well, Norway has just come out on top through patience, I suppose. And Finland's still around too. They're a vassal of Russia and will probably get annexed fairly soon. They're on Tech 24. Where's Iceland at? Iceland is on Tech 16. Tough to get institutions up here on Iceland alone. Generally a little bit easier if they're a part of Norway or whoever happens to want to conquer Iceland, but as it stands, they're a bit behind the times, seeing as they can only really get institutional spread across the sea from the Faroes, and that only if Iceland and Norway are happy with each other. Which I doubt they have been, considering Norway retains its cores on Iceland. Iceland, I don't think I've ever seen them with any diplomatic interactions. They have gone to a monarchy since we saw them last, so they're no longer a republic. Again, I wish they'd be programmed with the desire to take exploration. I'd like to see them at least colonizing Greenland, but no dice there. So, Odiev has taken Edirne, but Constantinople goes to Eretna. I don't understand. It almost, at this point, seems like the Europeans are hoping that Constantinople stays in Turkish hands. Like, that makes no sense to me. Regardless, it's now Eretna that's holding on to Constantinople, the city of the world's desire. They've almost taken the place of Kandar, really. I mean, Kandar got a little further, was able to take up to and including all of Bulgaria, but the Northern Anatolian Beylik has just switched tags. And we haven't seen around a Bulgarian separatists in a while, so I think Odiev might have been the tag to finally pacify the region. Good for them. Theodoro's still around, and Azov still got the alliance with Odiev, but who also still has Abkhazia. Border gore. That's about all I can say about them. I'm happy that Croatia's still up and kicking in this region. They've been kind of in tough straits. They've kind of more usurped Bosnia than anything. But, you know, Croatia's had a bit of a rough ride. They were conquered very early, and spat out again, and I think conquered again, and spat out in like 2 provinces, and have just slowly climbed their way back up to semi-relevance from there. I mean, they're relevant enough to have been allied to Great Britain for a while. And if Maria and Croatia both attack Venice, well, having to deal with Sicily would be pretty tough. But, that's a war that I'd like to see happen. Who knows, maybe, if Maria could get somebody... Well, they have Sardinia, too. I think, Maria... It would serve them well if they were to maybe get an alliance with Nitra or ODF. But, that's what I'd try to do if I were in their position. Can say that. Spain rampaging through Morocco, the less developed part of Morocco, but also do have Genet almost full occupied, though the peasants will say what they will about that. Songhai is actually looking fairly okay. It looks like Spain has attacked Kong as well. Had they just started a separate war? Or, no, I think Kong was allied with Genet. Yes. Excuse me. Yes, they were. And you have Fernando Po, the only British-occupied land in a lot of, well, in a lot of Spanish-controlled territory. Cuba is still the man here in Central Africa, but Nkor has wiped out Rwanda and looking perhaps to do the same to Burundi. We do see Cuba's armies over here. Another place where exploration might be a good idea, if Cuba were to colonize Lega, they could come up here and take some of this fairly rich land for themselves. And Cuba has been content to let Sofala be. They fought that one war against them and haven't done anything since. Also, this is all still Sakalava. Nobody's gone for Madagascar. Ethiopia has shrunk slowly, but they fought a lot of wars against Kilwa and Egypt, who now share a border. And Egypt now deciding, okay, now that the alliance with Oman is over, they can just turn around and attack. Rough stuff for Oman, who is still a body, so that's fun for them. Managing to hold on to their faith, if little else. Really, that's not fair to them. They did a good job at conquering the Arabian Peninsula and even forcing Ethiopia off. They just ran into the mischance of either Persia breaking their alliance or Egypt deciding that that it wasn't a great alliance after that war with Persia earlier. Regardless, they're trying to keep their army protected by keeping them on Bahrain. And now they're out. Trying to siege down Qatif. But Egypt has about twice their army size. It's going to be tough. Actually, has exactly twice their army size right here. Building more to contest, but... well... things not looking good for Oman. Things also not looking good for Ethiopia, who had just gotten stomped by Elodia's army. Elodia on Tech 22, Ethiopia on Tech 20, that'll do it. Surprised that Elodia has a bigger army than Ethiopia. I know Soba's a pretty good province. You know, that's Elodia's capital at the start, they like to develop it, but the rest of this land, it's a lot of 3 development land. Looks like it's gotten improved a little bit, probably when Foon spawned. But a lot of this land should still be pretty good for Ethiopia. She was the same as Soba. Yeah, we've got a 13 in there. I guess just a lot of 6s, but we've got some 9s, you know. Katha's 20. Kind of throws me. Maybe Elodia's taken quantity or something? No? Defensive? Offensive? Huh. I am not sure. Don't think there's too much else to see here. This war has ended. Kong is now reduced to only Zarmaganda. and Spain's taken a big chunk out of Genet. Morocco's still left alone, though. Spain could do so much more with this. Spain could attack one of these guys down here. We know they can beat Morocco in whatever alliance they dredge up. You know, assuming that Spain is attacking one of these three. They attack one of those. They take whatever land they want down here, which they have been doing, to be fair. But then, you know, they've been rampaging through Morocco every time. You go in and you break that alliance with Egypt. Or you go in and you break every alliance. You take all of their money. You maybe take a foothold across, you know, Ceuta would be a good province to take. But I guess that's why players are able to do what they do, and the AI isn't quite as good at blobbing. Again, unless their name is the Ottomans. Or really, Austria's done well for itself as well. As has Russia, but that's just, I think it's programmed into Russia. I mean, after all, how can they be Russia without blobbing? Anyways, things have been quiet for Persia lately. After they fought their last war against Egypt, they've been just hanging tight. They are the masters of most of the Middle East at this point. They still need to get down to things like Jerusalem, and there's the end of that war with Oman. Egypt appears to have taken all of these provinces, including both Mecca and Medina. So, I mean, I think it could have been worse for Oman. Egypt right now deciding to sit here in Jeddah and take some attrition. Because why not? That is a good province for Egypt to have, though, it being a center of trade in the Alexandria trade node. As a matter of fact, being the only other center of trade in the Alexandria trade node. So yeah, Egypt or the Mamluks back in the day would definitely want that. And of course, there's the Nile estuary there in Rashid, which also helps out with their trade power. And the mandate has switched hands. Who is it now? That'd be Chin. Well, good luck, Chin. You're gonna need it. I don't know why it is that, like, we generally don't actually see the strong tags picking up the Mandate of Heaven. We'll see a middling power in the region, the one to up and take it, but nothing for the strong tags. Korea tried to take it once. They might have been able to do something with it, though at that point I think they were still surrounded by a lot of Manchurian fellows. I'm not sure. Regardless, Russia's got Beijing, so that's something for the squabbling states to worry about. Lanna's still the man over here in Southeast Asia, and they've taken almost all of Bangladesh as well. Holding on to a couple tributary states, Arakan and Sukhothai. But not having Ava because they're tributing. They're under Mongyang, and Lanjiang is guaranteed by Huai, who has really been one of the constant tags over here. They've lost some land to Lanna, for sure, but Huai hasn't really done much either way. You know, they did a bit at the beginning of the game. I believe they took over a lot from Min. And I like how Wu somehow has Macau. But, hey, there we go. Majapahit has formed Malaya. They took the last bit of land from Malacca over here, and it looks like having the Malay Peninsula only extends up to here, at the very least. Or rather, at the very most. So, the spice must flow. Is Malaya a great power? They are. They are the 6th great power. Don't have the Enlightenment yet, though we do see Gascony now in 8th place does have the Enlightenment embraced, as does Austria. And Russia continuing to fall behind. They've refused to build any manufactories. They're having to get natural spread from the likes of their vassal in Finland. Manufactories, really probably one of the easiest institutions to get. I think global trade might be a little bit easier, because all you have to do is have a center of trade, and bam, it's in one of your provinces. the mandate going up has... Wow. So I think Qin is helped out by, well, one, they're helped out by the fact that they don't border Russia yet. Because right now they have 0 tributaries. But they only ally Khalkha and Liang, so that's not all that much development that borders them. As soon as Russia establishes a border with them, that mandate will plummet. And it'll plummet hard. Maybe they got an event or something. I have not. I've played 6 years of Ming, and I thought that was an easy way to do rags and riches. It didn't work out for me. I probably just did something wrong, but regardless, it didn't feel right trying to play Ming. They're just too strong. Now, I am in 1.20. I think things get a little tougher for them in 1.21, which I'm still loath to switch to. They fixed the bug with, what's it called? With Call to Arms, which is great. That was the main one that was actually a bug. I know that was unintended. But the issues with diplomatic relations, they make me wary too. I mean, I don't plan on playing, like, I think the next campaign I'm going to try to do, or the first campaign that I'm actually going to try to do after this finishes, I'm going to try to do an Uncommon Wealth campaign as Lithuania, of course. That also sort of a baseline campaign. Pick a nation that's strong but has some challenges. Obviously an independent Lithuania has more challenges than Poland with its insta-union. So, can do that, see if my playstyle... Well, I plan on doing campaigns, one way or another, regardless if anybody watches them. But, maybe see if things are different when I'm playing. I don't know. Looks like Venice is starting to occupy Maria, and has some decent occupations going on in Croatia as well. Croatia's gonna have to get down here if they want to help out Maria. What is this war? Venetian conquest of Thessaly. Man, I was hoping for Greece. I want Greece. Come on, Croatia and Maria, you can do it. I don't know if they can actually do it, because I think Sicily's involved. Yep. No, sad day. And Persia's finally decided to attack one of the Beyliks, that being Karaman. Things not looking good in Anatolia right now. There is no joy in... Well, that's not fair. That's not Mudville. They're attacking... I guess Egypt might be involved in this as well. Yep, Persian Carmany's imperialist war. Egypt honors the call. Persia is strong enough to take on any of its immediate neighbors save Russia right now. I think they could take on Delhi itself as well. Though Delhi and Khiva might present a challenge together. Bahmanis is still alive, though they've lost even more land to Madurai. They've lost some to Gondwana. I don't think Malwa's taken much from him since we last looked. And they have secured an alliance with Mongyang, so... there's that. I like how Khiva has been so adamant about keeping this alliance with Karadel that they've kept Chagatai alive. Just quarantined to this now 15 development province. But they lose another war against Russia if Russia decides to take Chagashak or Ili, and Chagatai will have something different to worry about. A much bigger beast. And oh, so much for that alliance that Perm picked up with Russia. They'll be gone soon. For the second time. Russia has some noble rebels over here in the Great White North, but not the Canadian type. They are stopped by this fort in Olanet, and goodbye noble rebels. Good coffee. Poland has taken, oh my, I can't pronounce that province, and I can't remember what it is when it's Prussian. They've taken this one, and Prussia has gotten back Ostroda from Mazovia, who has just taken the place of Gotland in this campaign. And there's Poland with a full siege on the Livonians. Don't think Kurland is going to be a thing. Yeah, besides, they're a colonizer. They'd be incredibly late to the colonization game. As in, there's nothing for them to colonize outside of maybe... No, there's no western... The closest western coastline that they could colonize in the Americas would be Candelaria. Because this province, it counts as facing the Pacific. You cannot colonize it from the Caribbean side. Sorry, that would actually be Nicoya, which is actually the closest... Sorry, yeah, it is the closest western coastline to what would be Kurland. As Newfoundland is colonized as far north in, well, Newfoundland as they could go. The US has expanded into the native areas, though right now they are fighting against... Right now they're fighting Creek. Creek is one of the stronger natives in this area, and there's the 13 colonies there to help them out, too. They're allied with Newfoundland. They have a strong liberty desire or something? Nope, not really. The US is allied with Brazil. The two former Toulousian colonies doing what they can. And Creek is carpet sieging right under the US's nose. That's rough. Now, where's this? Okay. So the US's capital is in Chesapeake. Actually, pretty darn close to where Washington, D.C. is. Though, they'd have to have Baltimore for that. So I suppose Lord Baltimore did exist in this timeline, and the mandate's gone up again. Well done, Emperor Chen. We do see Abkhazia occupied by somebody, occupied by Aydin. So Odeyev just ignoring Constantinople and crossing the Bosporus instead. And Epirus and Thessaly are back in Phoenician hands. Damn you, Venice. Odeyev, why don't you teach Venice a lesson and hand Epirus and Thessaly back to Maria while you're at it? I want to see Greece. Break your alliance with Sicily, too. How long until Russia attacks Perm? I guess we should check if they have a truce, maybe? Nah, it's not that big a deal. Right now they're fighting Kardel, Chagatai, and Khiva again. So, wonder if this is a ploy to just take more land from Khiva again, or whether they'll actually take some territory from Kardel. Still avoiding establishing a border with Celestial Emperor Qin. Though, should they attack Liang in the future, that'll change. Same thing for if they fight Khalkha. I keep changing my pronunciation on that. Noticing that... Oh my. So Brunei has started to colonize the Philippines. Ternate has colonized Tondo, and they had Manila earlier. But Tidor has followed them. So taking the island wasn't enough. Oh, speaking of Malaya wants Ternate. Or Tidor. God, I keep getting those two mixed up. Looks like that war has ended rather inconclusively. Or maybe they took Bali or something? That's probably being colonized. Or has been colonized. Surprised they haven't colonized Lombok. Regardless, doesn't look like anything has changed hands. Not happy with you, Venice. You've wrecked my dreams. The AI forming Greece would be awesome. Even if, it's not forming it under the Ottomans' nose. I guess player Corfu has a pretty good chance of doing that, though player Corfu's not really a thing that exists all that often. Looks like Egypt has released Shamar as a vassal. Interesting call there. And Ethiopia has been reduced to... I don't think they have any of their original land anymore. All of this was under different tags at the beginning. These two under Kaffa. This one under Anorea. Who doesn't have a core? Ah. This one under Jean Giraud. This one under Hadia, which, to be fair, was an Ethiopian vassal, and these two under Walaita. Oh, I guess they have these three as well. But those were all, I think, under either Adal or perhaps Warsangali, or maybe Marahan. One of those two. Three. I can't count. Is Kilwa fighting... Kilwa's fighting Oman. They want to take Tajura. Egypt not involved. Egypt is allied with both Morocco and Kilwa. That protects two of their flanks, but they have more flanks than two. Hey, Odiev's finally occupying Constantinople. Yay! Silly Europeans. I also like how Persia has just steadfastly avoided attacking Theodora. Oh, goodness gracious me. Sorry, I'm a tad tired this morning. That'd be why I've been drinking the coffee. I do that all the time, though. Anyways, earlier on that coalition war, Lubeck did lose a bunch of this to Austria, but they didn't lose any of their heartland. I guess there is, that is something to say about this. You know, it's 1700s, a lot of consolidation has happened. The wars that do happen are more important, I'd say. But, well, there's just far fewer of them. Kilwa has taken Muka, Adan, and Kinda, so there's a foothold for them on the Arabian Peninsula. There's some Ethiopian separatists for Egypt, dealt with pretty easily. Should be time for Tech 25, right? Yep, Poland has it. Great Britain has it. Actually, it's probably closer to time for Tech 26. That should happen eventually. Poland did take both Goldingen and Matau, but left Letgowan alone. The Livonian Order now guaranteed by Poland. Livonia just got shut down. They were allied with Poland. I thought that they might be able to use Poland to take the rest of the Livonian Order's land and form Kurland. No, that has not happened. Yay. I'm just saying that for no reason, by the way. Well, it looks like Venice took land from Croatia in that war, too, including the very nice province of Smederevo. There's only about a minute left. I'm going to check the ledger and see what the most developed province in the world is. So, province development? That'd be Surabaya. Most likely Malaya's capital with 52 development. Then some of the usual suspects, London, Vienna, and Berlin, all at 49. Moscow at 46. Lothringen at 45. Lorraine has done well to develop that one, and they've actually taken a little bit. Karaman at 44. Bordeaux, Gascony's capital, at 44. Cairo at 43. Brabant at 42. Odiev at 42. Warsaw at 41. Kyoto at 41. Hangzhou at 41. I think that's enough to see there. Cairo is another one that starts out with a lot of development. Based off this, what, 28? Yep. Alright, well, I'll go ahead. You know, better the 2 beeps than the many. I will see you all next time. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Great Partition.